A frozen front, a world ablaze. Introduction to the Russia-Ukraine conflict. The year is 2025. The world watches as the conflict between Russia and Ukraine grinds on. It is a conflict that has reshaped the geopolitical landscape, with global implications. It is a conflict that began not in the trenches, but with the annexation of Crimea in 2014. This seemingly distant event, a tremor on the edge of Europe, has become an earthquake, shaking the foundations of international order. This is not just a regional conflict, it is a struggle for the future of Europe. It is a test of the Western alliance. It is a stark reminder of the fragility of peace in the 21st century. As we navigate the complexities of this conflict, understanding its origins, its key players, and its global impact is paramount. Only then can we begin to grasp the stakes, the potential outcomes, and the profound implications for us all. The conflict is a humanitarian tragedy. It has claimed thousands of lives. It has displaced millions from their homes. It has left scars on the landscape and in the hearts of those who have witnessed its horrors. Yet even amidst the devastation, the resilience of the Ukrainian people shines through. The Crimean Prelude, annexation, and the seeds of conflict. To understand the current conflict, we must rewind to 2014. In February of that year, Russian forces without insignia seized control of key locations in Crimea. This strategic peninsula, jutting into the Black Sea, has long been a point of contention between Russia and Ukraine. It is home to the Russian Black Sea Fleet, based in Sevastopol since the 18th century. Following the swift military takeover, a hastily organized referendum was held. The result, widely disputed by the international community, was a vote in favor of joining Russia. Moscow formally annexed Crimea on March 18, 2014. This action drew condemnation and sanctions from the West, but it also emboldened pro-Russian separatists in eastern Ukraine. The annexation of Crimea was a turning point. It shattered the post-Cold War security order in Europe. It marked the first time since World War II that a European country had annexed territory from another by force. This brazen act sent shockwaves through the international community, raising profound questions about sovereignty, territorial integrity, and the future of Europe. A tangled web, key players and their stakes. The Russia-Ukraine conflict is not a simple bilateral dispute. It is a complex web of competing interests involving multiple actors. Russia, under the leadership of Vladimir Putin, seeks to reassert its dominance in its near abroad. Ukraine, striving for independence and closer ties with the West, finds itself caught in the middle. NATO, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, faces perhaps its greatest challenge since the end of the Cold War. The alliance's eastward expansion, seen by Russia as a threat, has become a major point of contention. The European Union, grappling with its own internal divisions, is a crucial player in mediating the conflict and providing economic support to Ukraine. The United States, under the Biden administration, has provided significant military and financial aid to Ukraine. However, its approach has been cautious, seeking to avoid direct confrontation with Russia. The conflict has tested the transatlantic alliance, exposing differences in threat perception and strategic priorities. Section 4. Shifting Sands of 2025. Military Advances and Diplomatic Maneuvers. The year 2025 has witnessed a surge in fighting in eastern Ukraine. Russian-backed forces have made advances in the Donbas region, capturing key towns and cities. The fighting has intensified around the strategic port city of Mariupol, a vital link between Crimea and the Russian mainland. Despite facing a numerically superior enemy, Ukrainian forces have put up stiff resistance, inflicting heavy casualties on the Russian side. They have been bolstered by Western military aid, including advanced weaponry and intelligence sharing. The conflict has evolved into a war of attrition, with neither side able to achieve a decisive victory. On the diplomatic front, efforts to find a peaceful resolution have faltered. The U.S., under the leadership of Secretary of State Marco Rubio, has proposed a UN resolution calling for an end to the conflict. However, the resolution has been met with skepticism from both Russia and Ukraine. Moscow insists on Ukraine's neutrality and recognition of Crimea as part of Russia. Kyiv, in turn, demands the return of all occupied territories and accountability for war crimes. Section 5. Ripples on a global stage: energy, diplomacy, and a world realigned. The Russia-Ukraine conflict has reverberated far beyond the battlefields of eastern Ukraine, It has sent shockwaves through the global energy market. Russia, a major energy exporter, has used its leverage to pressure Europe, which relies heavily on Russian gas. The conflict has exposed the vulnerability of global supply chains and accelerated the search for alternative energy sources. Diplomatically, the conflict has deepened divisions between Russia and the West. Sanctions imposed on Russia have had a limited impact on its behavior, but have further isolated the country from the global economy. The conflict has also strained relations within the Western alliance, as different perspectives on how to engage with Russia have emerged. The conflict has also highlighted the shifting balance of power in the international system. The rise of China, which has maintained a neutral stance on the conflict while deepening its ties with Russia, presents a new challenge to the US-led world order. Section 6, Looking Ahead, the Future of Ukraine and the Global Order. As the Russia-Ukraine conflict enters its second decade, its trajectory remains uncertain. Will the fighting escalate into a wider war? Will diplomacy eventually prevail? The answers to these questions have profound implications not only for Ukraine but for the future of Europe and the global order. One thing is clear, the conflict has already reshaped the geopolitical landscape. It has shattered the illusion of a post-Cold War peace in Europe. It has exposed the limits of international law and institutions. It has forced us to confront uncomfortable truths about the nature of power and the fragility of peace. As we grapple with these challenges, we must remember that the people of Ukraine are not mere pawns in a geopolitical game. They are real people with real lives caught in the crossfire of a conflict not of their making. Their courage, their resilience, and their unwavering belief in a better future should inspire us all to work towards a just and lasting peace.